What am I doing?
The monkey's flying the ship.
I'm flying. Hey,
Hi.
how we doing?
For some reason, I experience all this crazy stuff, but I got it again.
Yeah, we've experienced some crazy
Yeah,
stuff
we've
too.
we've had some. Yeah, it gets a little. Yeah, it's. I tell you, I don't know. Is it a moon thing? I never really got that whole phase of the moon, but it's like
It was a full moon Friday.
it's been a crazy ass day.
But you know what? It's going to be a great evening.
Okay, well then, you know what? I'm ready. I got my constellations behind me, and we're good to go.
Okay.
Well, the first thing out is I cannot believe some of the unique coincidences that have taken place in the last 7 days on this potluck schedule. And I'll start off with this. Let's see here. The first piece that Sue Lucente sent us, I number one have to thank her for sending me the quintessential perfect piece of the puzzle. This is a very simple drawing of a horse that really has a lot of interesting significance. And I have to say, she really hit it out of the park. If you don't, yeah, if Sue doesn't know what this symbol is, we're going to have fun. I hope she's watching.
I don't see her in here, and she's usually like the first one in here.
So let's sit over
I
here.
hope she's all right. Hey, Sue, where are you?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
She's in there.
You see her?
Yeah.
Well, I'm waving. Thank you for something awesome. Check this out.
Her favorite band. What? Yeah, this is her in real time.
Oh, okay.
Yes, she is.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
She's
Oh
the
wow.
one that's on Twitch.
This is actually a image taken in Uffington, Oxford, England, and it is called the White Horse, and it dates back 3 or more thousand years old. It is in the Bronze Age, pre-Neolithic. I mean, this is like really old stuff.
Is it made out of rocks?
So here's where it gets really interesting. Here we go. On the this is the side. As you're walking up to this hillside, you can actually see how immense this is. It's several football fields long.
Yeah, no, I know. Hey, there's Cleopatra.
I'm riding in on a white horse.
Oh, I see. Okay.
She's smoking.
Hey guys,
Hey, that's amazing.
What
but
is it made out of?
What is it made out of?
Yeah.
So what they did was they actually carved a trail into the mountainside about a foot deep. And when they carved that trench, underneath there was this stone, and they filled it in with white chalk.
Oh, wow.
And this very special piece.
Was not the sheep. Who did this?
Yeah. Who did what to the sheep?
Who filled it in? No. This is
Do we know
where
who
men
made
and
it?
men and sheep are nervous. Who?
Yeah, that's
now,
right.
when you say white chalk, what do you mean white chalk? Isn't that just like
Like
what's
lime?
grass?
So they took like chalk and they broke it
Lime.
and they kind of melded it in there.
To create like just a white look?
Right.
And it's lasted all these years?
Yeah.
It's like thousands of years.
Yeah, but it has been considered to be a national treasure site, actually an international treasure site, where they actually go through and they groom it to make sure it's magnificent.
And if you touch it, you get hair on your palms.
Is it like Stonehenge? They don't know where it came from?
I'm glad you brought up Stonehenge because it actually has much to do with the time frame.
You know how large it is?
Yeah, several football.
I definitely
Yeah.
see the scale of it. Yeah.
It's just immense. I mean, I needed to make its own like section.
And it's so beautiful.
It's exquisite.
But how many years old is this?
At least 3,000 years old.
Okay, well, we've got to know that just the Earth's surface has had to shift in some time. That's like, I don't know. That's
Bronze Age.
Bronze Age.
Yeah. But what's
Wow.
interesting
Fun,
is
Sue.
where this.
Nice.
But
And what does
what's-
it say? Where is it in Oxfordshire?
yes, Uppington. And what's interesting is the name, loosely translated, they call it white horse, but really it's Eponia, where we get the term pony, Eponia. And what's interesting about this is the spirit of Epona is, you know the saying, coming in on a white horse? You know, like
Yeah.
someone, this is
what
where,
I did earlier.
like she did, yeah. This is actually where it came from. It's the spirit of a white horse. The spirit of a white horse has been likened to one of my favorite.
Rhiannon.
Yes,
Yes.
it has been likened to the spirit of Rhiannon
Ah.
because she was known as the Great Queen.
And that's
and-
who Stevie Nicks wrote that song about.
Exactly. And I wanted to say how incredible this is because, you know, many years ago, we were not a patriarchal society. We were a matriarchal society, meaning that
The way it should have been.
women were prayed to for the fact that they were life givers and that they knew how to harness nature. And you do
It
not,
should be.
Yeah, go ahead and harness it. That's right.
and nature should not be controlled. It should be harnessed and cajoled and worked with out of respect. And
Agreed.
that is really where, in fact, the old saying, respect the king, fear the queen. You know, throughout history, kings have always been noted as, like, some have been great, some have been terrible, but no one has had much profound respect for the queen the same way. I mean, you just don't want to mess with a pissed off queen.
On any level.
They remember, and they're cunning and strong. But if you do this, I found this information on, some basic wealth mythology of what Rhiannon stood for. If you read some of the detail of it and listen to the lyrics of the song of Rhiannon,
Yep.
you can see some of this magical spirit flowing through the song. And, it's funny, when I always listened to the Fleetwood Mac song, I always thought it was kind of like a soft, cool song. But if you ever want to see how badass Stevie Nicks is,
She's
put
badass.
on YouTube, look up a live 1976 or a 77 concert.
That's awesome.
I mean, we watched it yesterday. What a badass she is.
Yeah.
I saw them in the 70s.
Yeah.
I have always loved Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I even loved them before Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham was in the band when they had Bob Welsh as a singer. I had the Bare Trees album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Very cool.
So, when did you see her? What, in 78, you said?
Yeah, about 78, yes.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What a great time. So over the weekend, remember I kept on priming you up, saying that I had this kind of strange coincidence that took place.
This is amazing. We had one last week with the owls
I
and the
know.
tarot cards, and now check this out.
So
Okay.
we're at the farmer's market, and I noticed a woman putting out signs to go, to look at an open art studio next door, right to where we get our food. And I don't know what, it was just enchanting. I said, you know what, let me go take a look at the art. So I go upstairs and I look at the art, and honestly, I'm struck with this painting.
It's a woman.
Wow. I can make it bigger.
Here, I'm gonna make it bigger too.
There you go. Okay. Then you've got something. Okay, there.
So this painting really just kind of, I was talking to the artist whose name is Diana Perot, and we were talking about all of these great coincidences about this show because we were talking about the show. And I told her that we were going to be talking about Rhiannon. And she says, really? She goes, oh, I have to show you this painting. And this painting used to be called Rhiannon. She renamed it because somebody in the art gallery made some statement that for some reason they didn't get it. So she changed the name to Unchanged. Oh, no, excuse me, Unaffected. It's called now Unaffected. And I said, well, what was going through your life at the time when you painted this thing? You know, what was your inspiration of this painting? And through a long story, she told me it was about her, about how she was really, you know, had to find her inner strength being a single mom of 3. And it was beautiful and strong. And I said, you know, it's incredible because a lot of people don't know this, but Rhiannon, the spirit of Rhiannon, has been likened to the spirit of Diana, the goddess of the moon and the hunt in Greece. And her name is Diana. The painting used to be called, and now she changed it back to Rhiannon because of this experience that we shared together. And I just thought it was so cool.
But what I thought was so incredible, and so did Brad, is you have this green background, this almost grass green, just like in the original Aponia sculpture in the mountain or wherever the grounds, and you have a long, lean human, even though it's a woman. It's kind of amazing that how coincidentally
it just kept on linking up.
they are so similar in their own way, and she had no idea when she.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought very interesting,
and
and
if you-
there was an interesting coincidence.
That's
There you go.
yeah. That's
and
yeah.
Rhiannon was a Welsh witch. I've heard
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks tell that story. She was reading a book about a Welsh witch, and
Yes.
that horse was in Wales, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, this is like woo.
A lot of weird stuff
Yeah.
going on
I
out there,
know.
kids.
And-
But it's a fascinating piece that Sue Lucente originated for
Yes.
us to look up, and oddly enough, it linked back to Stevie Nicks and Rhiannon, the song. So, I mean, that was pretty cool, Sue.
Yep.
You know,
Ding,
bravo.
ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
I've never even. Who is that album by?
What album?
That horse is on.
Oh. Oh.
XTC.
XTC.
Is that like an old band or?
Well,
They've been around.
Yeah.
Oh, they've been around.
Yeah.
And so this should, the name of the album that she pointed out is called English Settlement. Well, if you think about it, it's, you know, that piece has been there before England was England.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it kind of
Well,
looks like those horses that you were showing me today on your.
Wow, don't spoil that.
Yeah.
She
Think
saw.
about that.
She noticed some horses that she
After you-
hasn't seen before.
That's right.
Anyway.
And so the next image that was brought to our attention was from one of your guests with the last name of Murphy. And this
Gail.
is,
Gail. That's the Pike-Cakin.
Yeah, she sent us a pie
Yeah.
cake
Have you
and
ever heard of that?
next
Do you know what that is? Pike-Cakin?
no.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's part pie.
It's part pie. It's
pecan pie, pumpkin pie.
and
I
cake
saw it.
and
Is-
cake and apple pie filling and it's
Cinnamon buttercream
it's
holding it all together.
insane. It's all packed into one big thing. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
They didn't call it the Trajerkin of bakery.
That's exactly what it is.
That's
It's the
yep.
Tadurkin or whatever it is of it's
We read the story today.
it's a crazy
yeah,
thing.
the baker where they were making fun of
They were goofing on that thing,
Tudorkins, and they
and
said
they
let's make a
put
pie
together
bacon.
this pie cake and
And it
And that has something to do with this.
she
No.
this you know,
Yeah,
she's
she
the,
sent it to us.
she sent it to us.
today
Oh, that's so nice.
for Thanksgiving.
The
Oh,
tra-
she sent you a pie.
yeah.
a
Oh.
pie.
A pie cake in here. Look, look, hang on. Let me show. I get you. I have
And we
things.
had a pie cakein with Stephen and James 2
Yeah,
Thanksgivings
you
ago.
know Stephen and
Where
James.
are we for all of this yummy?
Oh wow, that does look good.
Wait, oh, just
you
wait.
can see the layers.
Wait.
Wow.
Man,
It's 2 different
That's
kinds
the
of
real
pie
deal.
in there.
Look at that. That's pumpkin pie and
Pecan
pie
pie,
and spice
spice
cake and apple pie filling. It's a very
held together by a cinnamon buttercream.
yeah, with oat nuts on the back and apple pie filling on the top.
Yes, pie cakein.
Pie cakein. There you go.
it's like the Willy Wonka never-ending gobstopper. It has
Yeah.
all the
It
flavors.
has everything.
It is very, very similar. It's very, very similar to that. But I'm sorry. And so yeah, big
No,
thing.
no,
Yeah,
so this is Gail's Crest, right?
yeah. This is yeah.
So Gail and
Yeah.
you have something in common.
What?
Check
What?
this out. Do you see?
Uh huh.
Okay, I want you. Oh, sorry about that. Here, there we go. Let's go back to Murphy. There we go. I want you to take a look at the lions that you have there
Yeah.
in her crest,
Whether on the hind leg.
and you see the shape of this lion is the same. And then I have your second crest logo. The lion is the same in each one. Hand me the big book. Yes. I mean, but it's a two-hander.
Oh man.
Wait, you have 2 different crests?
Well, they're probably from different houses of it.
Did you send 2 different
Check
crests?
this out.
There.
See all the different varieties of the shaping.
Yep. Look
Well,
at that.
Wow.
The one that you have is called a rampart lion.
Rapper like
Rampart.
a ramper. Okay.
Like he's ramming it down, and that's exactly what the shape is. This was excluded for the House of Families that have proved themselves in battle over and over again. It was a call to arms to say, listen, we are the king's people. We have a big army. Come and get them. Yeah, it was an absolute assault of strength. And it was to be respected when you saw this particular lion. This lion is found on almost all English heraldry. And even though you're Italian, this has English lineage because during Henry V, during Henry V,
Oh.
not you yet, during Henry V, and this is Mr. Entwistle's,
Yes.
Yeah.
Sign of Agincourt.
right. So do you see this Agincourt right there on the bottom, on what's called the motto line? That's the family's motto. I haven't been able to decipher the motto just yet because I had to talk to somebody and it didn't work out. But I can say the Agincourt, that was the gateway of Henry V during the 100 Years' War, closing it down and winning it for England and bringing everything through.
Well, that makes all the sense in the world. That was, John used to tell. We went to a place.
Yeah, that castle.
Yeah, we went to.
Or the bar. The
Well,
restaurant.
he went. Yeah, we went to a
Yeah.
pub. I forget what the name of it was. It doesn't matter. It was one of those long, forever English drives in the countryside. And then you come to this place that's lit up in the middle. It's like a Frankenstein movie. But you come to this place and it's lit up and there's cars. And it's like, thank God. I thought they were going to just drop me off, and that was, And so we go inside and he goes, come here, look at this. And we go down these stairs like you built these stairs a little small, guys. I'm just saying. Narrow
old
stairs with
building.
like layers of stone, hundreds of years old. And we go down to the bottom and it's a dungeon, like a for real dungeon. It's ridiculous. And John said, he said to me, the first time I went down here, he said, I got stunned like I had been here before. And then he told us he went to another castle somewhere in the area, and he felt like he had been there like
a prisoner in their dungeon.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
So he would have. I'm sure he
In a
knew
past
whatever it was
life.
there was to know, but that on a personal note, he was moved by that.
So what is some of the parts of this
Right.
name? Do you know what any of it means, honey?
Bits and pieces, and we'll start off with so the lion always, strength will go in, you can imagine the imagery, but in the center line of this right here, it's difficult to see, but there are 3 branches of wheat stalks.
Oh yeah, I see.
Okay, yeah, I see him.
Hand me the
I liked all the different lions that you showed. That was amazing.
yeah, and each one of those lions have a different persona of the family in which it represents.
Oh, I know. There was the one lion that was waving and
So
smiling
you
at
already
everybody.
have these books, or like?
No, he went out and
these
got
are
them
mine.
today. They just showed up from Amazon.
Man, I'm impressed.
So the wheat is symbolizing the gift of life,
Oh.
Abundance.
abundance, and you see that in a lot of
Jewelry.
jewelry, which
The
we'll get in
engraving.
another time. But yeah,
like engraving on jewelry, they use the wheat symbol frequently for abundance of life. You're getting married,
Right,
have
we see it
children.
a lot in bridal jewelry. You see it a lot in Native American culture as well.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
And then the red and white is typically designed for faith and purity.
so she's got a good.
Wow, that's a good crest.
Yeah.
And what about the helmet?
The helmet is typical 16th century English
Just like
from that era. That's where
So
this.
it makes it English.
Mhm.
So her family were wealthy
I should have brought
warriors.
pictures. I should have brought show and tell,
What?
the tour book.
Here, check this out.
Yeah.
All this stuff, all the swords and stuff. What is that?
Like,
Oh, wait a minute.
Do you see the helmet? How it looks similar to yours?
Oh yeah, it does.
Yes, I do.
Like
Yeah.
a crown.
Yeah, this is the English Henry V crest.
Wow.
and a unicorn.
Yes.
And a unicorn. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a unicorn.
Wow.
So yours has that helmet as well, and now
Does that symbolize something?
that helmet is English. That helmet is from the 1700s, and that helmet is significant in the fact that it was denoting the sophistication of the armory. So this was like a message to all you people who want to play, who want to challenge them at that time, the kingdom. This is what you're going to be dealing with, the most sophisticated armory that was available at the time.
Yeah. So
I like that.
yeah. So,
Now-
you came from a long line of badasses.
Speaking of,
Well, I like
yes.
Oh, yeah, there's one. God.
I was picking your brain on this one today, and tell us a little bit about what this means to you.
Well, back in the 70s, I was introduced by one of my best friends to the Chinese martial arts, Shaolin, Tai Chi, Bagua, Xingyi, all these different internal and external styles. And we studied with somebody who really had heritage in the arts and was acknowledged by the Gosu Wei of the Republic of China that his martial arts were pure. And so when we moved on in our training, I was in it for years and years and years. We got to join this because he certified that the martial arts that we learned, the Kung Fu or the Xingyi or whatever it was, was pure, was the real thing from the small forest, from the Shaolin Temple and
Wow.
3,000 years ago and all that.
Well,
So
hold on.
She loves the stuff.
I have books everywhere. So this book chronicalizes 25 of the top martial masters of the system that I belong to. And this is my instructor, Mr. Lee Wedlake. He is a master of the system. And you'll love this picture of who was also in our system, another great rocker, Elvis Presley.
Oh, right, and
yeah, that's right.
right, and anytime I ever see that, I remember Stone.
Yeah, Priscilla had an affair with him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether the pitcher hits the stone or the stone hits the pitcher. It's going to be bad for the pitcher.
Yeah, that's right. I love it.
Yeah, so yeah, well, anyway.
So
So
you come from a fierce long line of warrior kingdom style of humans.
exactly. See,
Well, it was, I'll tell you what, when we were in all that in the 70s and however long, I mean, we were in it privately because we couldn't, anyway. And it was just amazing what you learned and what you were exposed to, and how much it influenced the decisions I made in my life, and it was a great experience. And so to be part of that, one of I don't think there's more than 250 people from the United States that have that. But so it's just I mean
it's an honor.
yeah, it's an honor for me. That's for sure. I mean, that was a lot of work, and it's weird because the horses around the outside look like that
Yes.
horse that's in.
On that album cover that you showed.
Well, the reason why horses are so significant to martial training, martial philosophy in China, Asia is because of during Mongol China era, Genghis Khan,
Oh,
the most feared ruler ever. What he did was very unique, different than any other military ever in history. It was a traveling cavalry that really brought nothing with them other than bare essentials. And they would set up brief camps, and then they would terrorize towns to absolute oblivion.
They were not pleasant.
Yeah, we saw Marco Polo. Have you
Oh,
seen
yeah.
that show? And it was about what was his name? Kublai Khan.
Kublai Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they showed all
but
of that.
that's
I
not.
call her Kublai Khan when she's back.
You were gone. Okay. I get that. Yeah, no, it was interesting to learn all that and get that perspective on things, because it totally erases anything other than all the positive things that it's dedicated to. So it was a good thing for me.
Yeah, and when you brought up this to me, I was so fascinated with it. Mainly because I don't know if you can zoom in on the top portion of it, but there's like this arm
Yeah,
with a head, and it's like lifted off.
that's what I wanted you to
And
tell them. Okay.
and I said to Colby, I said, this is a really interesting symbolism. And she's like, yeah, why is there like a decapitated dude at the top? That's really funky. And that's actually the king. And he's not decapitated. What is the symbol is of the king is above all whom we must serve.
Oh.
And
So if you have this family crest, in other words, you are saying to people that your family respects the king and the kingdom above all, and puts them first.
right. It's dedication.
To that kingdom.
Yeah, fierce dedication.
So that
Wow.
And so, you sent this one to me.
Because I was going through my images, and I noticed that I don't remember whether it was us that was talking about that cross.
The Iron Cross, right?
Yeah, the Iron Cross.
Yeah, it was us with
Check
Crest.
this out. Before we even can get to the cross, we have something really obvious to talk about. I want you to take a look at the shape of that wood construction that it's in.
Oh yeah,
Tell me if there's anything similar in shape that you see.
yeah, I see. Absolutely do.
Okay, so that's a coffin, or a symbolistic coffin. And
Freemasons.
And that's why it says rigor mortis sets in, which is kind of like one of these, like, that's kind of morbid. I mean, not many people talk about rigor mortis for fun.
He
He had a black sense of humor. Isn't
Let me
that
tell you
black
he was
he was funny, but
he was dark as it
funny.
could be.
Yeah.
Well, you
And-
said that he was a Mason.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is going to unearth a little bit more information. In Masonry, there is something called a chamber of reflection that many of them have. And it is a small area that they use a skull to stare into. We briefly touched on this on the very first show about staring into your own mortality and saying to yourself, what am I doing with my life before I meet this end? And that's actually a Stoic philosophy. The Stoics, this is their entire mantra is, if I died tomorrow, what would I leave behind? And
But they do
that's,
it in a creepy way.
oh, absolutely.
Because you know, I mean, I'm not saying women aren't into it, but your average woman probably wouldn't want to stare into, you know, a skull. I mean, Lori, how do you feel about it?
Well, she just actually walked out to grab something for me to show to you.
Oh, okay.
She might have her own skull, hopefully, if I'm lucky.
But but it's true that it's so interesting.
So
How do I feel about what?
Okay,
Oh,
yeah. How do
into
you?
a skull. I mean, is that something like? I just think that's such a man type of thing that they would do. I don't know.
Skull? I know a lot of women that like skulls.
Oh, would
Yeah.
stare into the skull? You think they
No.
would do it?
I don't even. No. That's not for me. I like flowers.
Yeah,
and-
me too. little bit of a science imagery.
Skulls. No.
yeah,
That's
John
one of them is Henry VIII, and the other one is
John's dining room.
that's John's. Well,
right. Oh,
Who is
wow.
it? Who is
That's
that?
John. That's
yeah,
John.
well, yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
John
the
and
table.
Pridden, and I don't know who else was
And they
there.
had those swords.
And-
Yeah, the broadswords. But there's all kinds of shit. Look at all those. Those are weapons.
Yeah, he's got a nice little armory there.
Is this because?
Yeah, that's the extension of
Bad
of.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah. Oh, there's a better picture of those guys.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and look at there's the
Yeah, his crest.
crest on the right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good. Yep.
So cool.
Yeah, but there's a skull. There's some skull stuff in here.
So you asked me about the cross.
The cross.
Right, the cross.
Rigor mortis. What's your mic?
Right.
Lovely.
we're gonna- We're going to jump right to this. Check this out. That cross is this cross. This cross is known as a Templar cross, the Knights Templar.
Mm-hmm.
And, we don't have enough time to discuss all that goes with them. But the mythic Knights Templar have been, throughout history, one of the most misunderstood orders of time. And they've, some people have looked at them as villains. They've been even charged as, as heretics, and many of them were lined up and slaughtered. And many of them are venerated as mystics and great keepers of the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh.
So there are many, many secrets to learn about the Templars and what they stood for. And that's where because the Masons and the Templars have much in commonality of their symbology.
So basically, John
Yeah.
is telling people by his album cover that he was a Mason. He had that same coffin, the same cross.
So what did that cross mean specifically? Because I know they all have different meanings. You know?
I will never say I know what that means, because only a fool would challenge all of the interpretations that are out there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But
Are
I
there any
can
common ones that you
I can tell you
mention?
this. X marks the spot comes from there. Because if you notice, it's an equilateral cross. It's not a
Yeah.
top heavy cross or a bottom heavy cross. and the flared edges can be triangulated to the Maltese Cross. The Maltese Cross, the Cross of Malta, is the headquarters of the Knights Templar
Oh.
and also the Knights of Malta.
Which was
Malta-
the surfer cross, by the way. If you were a surfer and you had the Maltese Cross in your car and you went to the spot, and people knew that you were,
Ah,
you,
that you
knew,
were.
you knew your business.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, you were there, you were part of the, you were supposed to be there.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
So,
these
yeah.
are like the California surfers?
Well, I don't know. I never made it that far.
No, but California surfers,
Yeah.
that whole Dogtown, I don't know if you know about that, but that was like a surfer.
Yeah.
The whole skate culture came
Yeah.
out of that because a guy invented wheels with urethane instead of the hard, skate wheels that everybody was using.
But they would fight over
Yeah.
the break in the waves.
Yeah,
like
they
if
were.
the
It was.
outsiders would
Yeah,
come,
no,
they
no
would get-
visitors
They would
allowed.
beat the shit out of them.
But we're digressing. It's just too much pot luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much pot, not enough luck.
So, we didn't intend to go across the pond over to England and talk about all of the ancients and how it came through and how it relates to rock, but somehow it all wound up there tonight. Potluck was, and remember, we could have no Thanksgiving if it wasn't for the people across the pond. So we
Wow.
thank you.
Thanks.
Are you-
Happy
Thank you,
Thanksgiving.
Sue Lucente, for starting us off on
That's
this
right.
path.
Well, I
This is
should
also
yes.
strange, especially-
I should tell you something. I was touring with Leslie West. We were doing a tour of. We did the whole, not the whole country, but all the way up to the North Sea, all the way down to Southampton
in England.
in England. And I forget where we were. Well, I don't remember what town we were in, but I saw the steps that the pilgrims walked down to get on the Mayflower.
Wow.
I mean, and
That's
they
serious.
they were worn out. Like it was
in the middle.
they're solid. Yeah, I'm sure there's a picture of it somewhere. I didn't have a camera with me at the time.
Yeah, there were no cell phone cameras.
It was, I mean, it's like how many people had to walk down these stairs to wear this stone out, and it was some kind of I don't know, some kind of shiny. I don't really know what kind of stone it was, but I guess I could look it up. But it was just amazing because right at the bottom of it, the water was splashing right up on the bottom steps. And then if you raise your head up, it was like that's what they saw, only with no cell phones, with no radar, no Coast Guard, no.
It was Plymouth.
Wow.
And-
Well,
and-
cool
and-
work.
Fascinating. What a great experience. How it's
Oh,
incredible.
it was amazing. And it really put it into perspective standing there, as I was alone at the time. I don't remember even where anybody else was, but it was a Sunday, and there was nobody on the street. And I thought to myself, could I have been the one who didn't get on the boat, and they left me behind? It was a remarkable experience. It really was cool.
Yeah. Wow. So with that, happy
With that,
Thanksgiving,
yeah.
everybody.
Happy
We have
Thanksgiving.
much to be thankful for.
We do.
We
Yes,
certainly
and my
do.
relatives on my father's side came over on the Mayflower.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was that the Audubons?
I don't know if so. I mean, I.
She's
no,
related to John Audubon,
I am,
too.
yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. My mother, my aunt had a book made of my father's side of the family, and I looked at it, and yeah, I'm related to John Audubon. And yeah, I guess that's the same ones that came over on the Mayflower.
Well, some of them came over.
It
on
wasn't my
Mayflower.
mother's side; it was my father's side
Yeah.
of the family.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's Angus.
Angus.
Back. Hey everybody, how you doing, Greg? Hey Colby.
Shouldn't you have turkeys running around behind you tonight instead of fish?
I do have a turkey. I do have a turkey.
Don't get him started,
Oh my God.
please. Don't get him
Oh,
started.
We don't do turkeys in rock.
Yeah, but you know.
Brad and Colby, Gail and Sue said thank you so much for doing this, and they both thought it was very interesting and
Oh,
fascinating.
yay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
It was
Thank
great.
you for
Thank
participation.
you for the question.
Yeah, that was great.
And Gail said to tell you guys happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yep. You're getting a lot of happy Thanksgivings and smiles, and
So there you go.
so there you go.
Guys.
Very good.
Well, listen, we can't wait for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, us too. Do you have a plan, or
You know, I
What's a plan?
don't go with just go with it? Just
if I come up with something, I'll let you know.
We'll figure it out.
If
Okay.
it'll pick me.